Honestly, I had been putting off this Will My Fave Make roster because this was one of the more difficult predictions to make. Hi, if you're new here, my name is Justice, giving you all my predictions about women's basketball. And today, we only have 3 left. And you guessed it, based upon my shirt, we're covering the Phoenix Mercury. And by the end of this video, we will have answered the question of Will My Fave Make roster. Listen, the season hasn't even started and I can already hear the Phoenix Mercury having the everyone doubted us, nobody believed in us, Phoenix versus everybody narrative. I can already see the writing on the wall, baby, because I take a look at this roster in this training camp and it's giving remnants of last year. Now, Girl Dad has said a little different from last year. This year we have some returning players. Last year they only had 2 returning players. This year I think they have like 6. But outside of that, this camp is one that is going to have a lot of new faces, which means a lot of opportunity for somebody new to make roster. But with that being said, people aren't probably anticipating them to be making it to the finals like they did last year. So curious to see, honestly, what they're able to make shake. Like I said, this was one of the more difficult predictions to make because we're working with a couple different variables. Not only are there a lot of players who are still going on internationally, there's a bunch of other players who this is their first time in the WNBA. So again, a little different conversation here, but we'll try our best to at least give us a baseline to understand what we're working with here. So let's talk about who is coming to camp. Okay, of course, we're starting off with our protected contracts, a lot of returners in this little conversation. So coming back to play with the Phoenix Mercury, of course, we have Alyssa Thomas, Kalia Copper, Sammy Whitcomb, and new to the gang, it's going to be Valerian Ayayi. Then we have 3 players that are on our unprotected contracts, and that's going to be Dewana Bonner, Natasha Mack, and then Monique Cole-McConney. Now, the Phoenix Mercury did have 2 picks in the WNBA draft, but both of those are draft and stashes, so they won't be with the team this year. They had the number 27 pick where they selected Inez Pichar-Grinnell, and then they had the 42nd pick where they selected Esther Rakai. Now, moving on to our training camp contracts, like I briefly mentioned in the beginning, they have quite a few players that are still not with the team, are over internationally. Now, they have began waiving players as well, but this is who is currently still at camp. So we have Kyra Linskins, Kiana Williams, Ashton Pretchell, Giovanna Nocek, Kara Dunn, Laura Jensen, Morgan Malley, Naomi Brochard, Shay Carter, Shay Shazetsky, and then Jillian. As you can see, listed a bunch of players that you're probably like, I've never heard about that person before. But like how we talked about with some other camps, more opportunity for somebody to get, their big break in the WNBA this season. So that is promising. So let's take a look at the numbers. So when we take a look at the numbers, there is a lot of opportunity in the Phoenix Mercury camp. From the protected and unprotected list, I will anticipate everybody making the roster. Like I said, Girl Dad has already communicated the fact that, he's excited that he's returning some players so they have a baseline. So again, when I read articles and different discussions, the conversation is pointing towards, yes, I will be keeping everyone who has already been here essentially. So of course that's going to be AT, Dewana Bonner, Sammy Whitcomb, Ka, Ayayi, and she's on a protected contract too. So obviously they're very excited about her coming over this season. That's going to have me at 5 right now. And then obviously Natasha Mack, she's made great jumps and strides. She said Mack Truck has been in the gym, so she definitely was in the weight room during the off season. And then rounding out as my 7th person is going to be Cole McConney, but I don't think she's arrived yet. I think she's still overseas. Now, when we look at our training camp contracts, is there anybody who, again, I guarantee will be on the final roster, and I can give you one, and that is going to be Kiana Williams. Again, I pay attention to conversation, how coaches talk about different players when we talk about the future and vision, and he definitely, when he speaks about Kiana Williams, it is with the tone and tenor that he does have plans for her when it comes to this Phoenix Mercury roster in this upcoming season. So, of course, that ultimately leaves us 4 open roster spots and then 2 development spots, which means lots of opportunity. So let's answer the golden question that we're here for, is that will my Fave make roster? And honestly, guys, like I said in the beginning, I wasn't joking. This was one of the more difficult rosters to predict. There's a couple different variables that are impact. One, there's so many players that are gone internationally. Now, they already played 2 preseason games. I really paid attention to the most recent one, which was versus Japan, and I was really just paying attention to rotations. Who the coach brings in the bench immediately, minutes, production, that's what I'm basing off of. But since they have so many players who aren't present right now at camp, and we didn't get to see in the preseason game, it's hard for me to base off of they're going to make roster when one games start May 8th. Some players who have never been in the WNBA, have never been on the team, the whole nine. It's hard for me to have confidence that, like, yeah, he's going to add some of these players in when they have no baseline, no chemistry, no nothing over players who have been here the entire training camp. So, I really don't know how much that's going to impact his decision. Now, there's certain players that I think, like Okolo Makani, who it doesn't matter that she missed the preseason games or whatever the case may be, her spot is solidified. But some of these other players who this is their first time with the Mercury in training camp and, trying to get a roster spot, I think it's a different conversation. So just take that in the back of your mind as we kind of break down and kind of work through who we think maybe has a leg up in the conversation of making roster. So kind of let's just break this down looking at positions. So I'm looking specifically at the center position. So right now, Natasha Mack is going to be our starting center. Backup center wise, I think it's going to be between Ashton Pretchell, because she plays like a center forward position, but then also Linskin. Now, no, Linskin's just arrived at camp. I think that backup center position is going to be between either Linskin's, again, who I'm unfamiliar with, or Ashton. Ashton did get early minutes in the preseason game. She was kind of one of the first subs off the bench, which usually is a positive thing. But again, I don't think the spot is locked up, but I do think it's going to be between her and Linskins to see who gets it. Guards, based upon conversation and just based upon the Japan game they played and when they played Chicago, who stuck out to me? Shea Carter. She has logged the most minutes out of all the guards right now, which is a positive thing. Had a good showing in both games. So I'm definitely keeping my eyes on her. But then also, I think Morgan Malley's very high on their boards, and also Kara Dunn. Now, here's the thing about Dunn. Dunn did not play in the Japan game because she was out with a knee injury. I don't know how much injuries are going to impact decisions, because they did just do a thing of waves, and the players that wave all were like hurt except a couple of them. When it comes to Dunn, I don't know the recovery. I don't know the extent of the injury. All I know is she did not play in the Japan game. Played very well, got a lot of minutes in their game against Chicago, but did not play during the Japan game. So curious to see what her injury is, because I think that is going to impact who they end up going with. I also, when I watched the Japan game, really liked Shizeski. With the minutes that she was given, again, she's a three-point shooter. She hustled really hard. I saw some positive things. But also, Lauren Jensen is another option. Now, don't forget, we do have the development spots, which are a toss-up. I don't know. Honestly, I don't know about Phoenix. Just because, they didn't have any free agents. They didn't pick up any free agents. And during free agency, they didn't pick up any players in free agency. That is absolutely insane. So I don't know what Girl Dad has up his sleeve and the direction that they're going as the development spots. There's a lot more uncertainty with this roster than definite idea and direction. I don't want to mislead you with bad information. So all I can do is let you know what I'm thinking in terms of who is sticking out to me. But again, a lot of opportunity with this roster, because again, Girl Dad might just go try to pick up other players who are waived and go that route. But regardless of what he chooses, I think that we are going to see a lot of new faces, similar to last year on the Phoenix Mercury. One of the rosters that I don't have a good gauge on, but hopefully can give you a better idea of just kind of what they're working with, as obviously we're getting almost 6 days away from the start of season.